interesting results that came out of the LinkedIn survey. If we can start by just giving a comparison about if the survey has been done at the global level, how the region compares to other countries around the world.
Sure. So we actually have run this research across our EMEA markets. So that means Europe, Middle East, and Africa. We have seen similar results. I think, actually, before I tell you how it's similar and different, I'm going to give you like a quick recap of the findings that we have seen here in the region, because it's very interesting. So we have surveyed around 1,000 professionals in the UAE and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And some of the numbers that we have seen is that 70% of professionals have lost or feel that they lost their soft skills. They feel that they're out of practice when it comes to office life. They can't really deal with colleagues in an office environment anymore. 13% of these people have actually quit their jobs as a result of being asked to go back to the office, which is something that would have been completely far-fetched a couple of years ago before the pandemic. So we are seeing people really question not just how, but why they work. And another number that's really telling, 65% of people are concerned that there would be some kind of stigma associated with people who actually decide to work from home for part of the time or all of it. Some of the similarities that we have seen, I would say it's very interesting that there is no overwhelming consensus regarding going back to the office. So employees are conflicted. There are people who want to go back to the office full-time, people who want to work remotely full-time, and there is also a percentage who want to do a mix of everything. There is also something that we have seen across markets, which we call the development dip, and we have seen this mainly among young professionals who are just entering the workforce and who feel that the pandemic has severely impacted their ability to gain the skills needed for working in an office environment or dealing with colleagues. And this is something that's really, that forces us and forces businesses to think of how we can integrate these new entrants into the workforce, into our environment and culture, how we can make sure that we ingrain our values in them.
If you can elaborate further on that point you just made about the soft skills, and how can employers support their employees in developing these skills?
I think the main theme here is it's all work in progress. So we're all learning as we go. As I said, there is something that there is a paradox that we're seeing. So even among people who want to stay home, they are burnt out. They're concerned about the stigma of not going back to the office. And then people who are going to the office are concerned about their hours and productivity, etc. So everyone is trying to figure it out. And what we are seeing is really unprecedented change in the world of work, something that we call the Great Reshuffle. So everyone is, learning, adjusting, trying to have a say in the evolving models of work. So I don't think there's a hard model of how you make sure that these young people that you just asked about are integrated into the workforce. Something as simple as maybe a daily check-in could do the trick. Something maybe like mentorship programs, connecting on a daily basis, collaborative video conference projects. Something that's also very telling is all the conversations that we are seeing on LinkedIn. So people, there is a need to connect, and we are seeing record levels of engagement of both people and businesses exchanging views, best practices, talking about, the new world of work that we're living in. And we have also opened up a number of our learning courses for free, mainly focused on the soft skills that people are saying that they're losing, like, for example, communicating effectively.
You mentioned the stigma about working from home several times. Why do you think is this stigma? Is it really there, or is it more of a perception that there's a stigma? And yeah, basically.
I think that's hard to say, or it's not set in stone. It might be a mix of both. As companies explore how they're integrating their employees and making sure that their culture prevails in a hybrid work model, and also employees who are feeling that if their boss is not seeing them physically at work and they're seeing their colleague, that this somehow might impact their work. I think the perception is there just because it's a new world that we are entering. New models, everyone's trying to figure out how it benefits them, how it benefits the company, how they can find their place in it. And as I said, it's a work in progress. It's a learning curve that will go up and down. Perceptions will also shape it. But over the next year or two, businesses will be able to maybe establish a new working model and a relationship with employees where they feel that they can build trust, and that time will offer enough proof points to show that the values, the culture has in fact changed in favor of a more flexible work model.
I hope so. We really need that.
Yeah.
Let's look longer term than that. Like, let's say in 5 years, what do you see work life looking like? Sorry.
Well, again, I'm going to go back to the phrase that I mentioned, which is the great reshuffle. So leaders, businesses, employers might be facing a lot of stress and confusion right now on how to make sure that this new work model works in their company, or what is the right way to take. However, it also presents a golden opportunity, if you will, to rethink our work models, the corporate culture, the values, maybe to rebuild or build a relationship with employees. And the word here, the key word is flexibility. Flexibility is king as we go forward. It's just a question of how exactly are we going to build this flexibility. What we have decided at LinkedIn, and what we have seen that works well for the phase that we are in, is that no one size fits all. So it has to be an open conversation based on the team, on the individual, what works, what doesn't work, and we are trusting each other to make sure that we are doing our best work where we think we can do it. And going forward, we think that this is the way to go, especially in this phase, in the stage where we are still exploring what works and what doesn't. But ultimately, I think it's a positive outlook for everyone, and it's an opportunity to redesign, reshape our working models, while at the same time solving for productivity as well.
You answered my question about what work looks like in LinkedIn right now. So I don't have any further questions. But if there's anything that I didn't ask you about regarding the survey that you'd like to touch upon, please go ahead.
I think I actually mentioned the main points. There are a lot of findings. So I just took out like the most interesting nuggets that I think should be talked about and should be tackled by businesses and employees. And, I think the key phrases here is that everyone is trying to figure it out, as we are at LinkedIn as well. So as I said, there's no one size fits all, and we have the option of talking to our managers to decide whether we want to work full-time at the office, full-time at home. We are given that option, and we're adjusting, learning as we go. But agility is the trendy word, actually really works well for what we're seeing and for the phase that we're in.
Hopefully other companies will learn from you as well. Thank you so much for your time, Najat.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.